Chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. There's a divine purpose behind why you're reading or hearing these words right now. You've endured betrayal, false accusations, and isolation, not because you were weak, but because God was preparing a public table for you in the presence of those who thought you'd never recover. Every injustice, every misunderstanding, and every delay was a setup for divine vindication. This is not just another season. This is the one where heaven speaks on your behalf. Let's break it down into 7 powerful chapters for deeper understanding. Before we dive in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this message isn't just content, it's divine confirmation for the chosen ones. And thank you to everyone supporting through Super Thanks. God bless you richly. Your presence and faithfulness mean more than you know. If your spirit feels this frequency, type 77 in the comments. That number signals to heaven that you're ready. Ready for your public vindication. Ready for God to turn the tables in your favor. This message isn't for everyone. It's for those who've been falsely accused, overlooked, and mocked. For those who stayed silent while God prepared their comeback. Watch this more than once, because each time, new truth will rise within you. God is about to publicly vindicate you, and by the end of this message, you'll know why the wait was worth it. Let's begin. Chapter 1, When They Spoke Against You. Chosen one. There were moments when your name was carried into rooms your feet never stepped into. People you trusted repeated your secrets to those who never deserved to hear them. They twisted your words, exaggerated your mistakes, and made you the villain in their version of events. You stood there, stunned, wondering how hearts you once helped could turn so cold. You wanted to shout your truth, to correct the narrative, but God whispered, "Let them talk. I'm building your testimony." You see, silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. God knew if you defended yourself, you'd get dirty trying to clean what he was about to clear himself. So he asked you to stay quiet while he did the talking. He allowed their gossip to spread, so that when he elevates you, no one will be able to deny it was his hand that did it. You were not being punished. You were being protected. Your silence was your shield, and your patience was your weapon. Every word they spoke against you became evidence in heaven's court. And God never loses a case. The truth is, chosen souls are often misunderstood. You love deeply, forgive easily, and speak truth where others prefer comfort. That kind of purity threatens people still ruled by pride and control, so they mislabel you to make themselves feel better. But what they didn't realize is that when they spoke against you, they were actually prophesying your promotion. Every insult became an investment in your next season. Every attack became spiritual training for your authority. They didn't know that by talking down on you, they were talking up your destiny. Chosen one, God allowed the lies because he wanted to expose hearts. He let certain people reveal who they truly were without you saying a word. He wanted you to see who could stand beside you in the storm and who would sell you out for attention. Every betrayal was an unveiling. Every false story revealed who wasn't meant to walk with you into your next chapter. You had to see it, not hear it, because actions speak louder than loyalty declared through words. But don't let their behavior make you bitter. Let it make you wiser. You're not meant to return fire. You're meant to rise higher. When they used your name to gain clout, God was preparing to use your story to gain glory. What they meant for harm, heaven is recycling for honor. Because your integrity under pressure became a testimony. Your peace under persecution became proof that God's Spirit lives in you. And now the season of silence is ending. God is about to clear your name without you having to say a single word. He's about to flip the script so powerfully that even your enemies will have to admit God was with you all along. Your rise will not require revenge. It will require remembrance. They will remember the things they said. They will remember how they treated you. And when they see your elevation, it will remind them that grace has a way of reversing every false judgment. Chosen one, this is not just vindication. This is revelation. God is showing the world that purity still prevails, that humility still holds power, and that silence still wins when your trust is in Him. You're about to see the tables turn in divine timing. The same people who once doubted you will be forced to witness the favor that's about to rest on your life. So stand tall, keep your peace, and stay silent a little longer. God is writing your name in places where your enemies can't reach. You don't need to announce what He's doing. Your results will do it for you. Chapter 2, God hid you for a reason. Chosen one, you didn't disappear. You were divinely concealed. When people stopped calling, when doors slammed shut, and when it felt like the spotlight moved off you completely, it wasn't rejection, it was divine protection. You thought you were being forgotten, but in reality, God was pulling you away from what couldn't go with you. He took you into a season where He stripped away the noise, distractions, and false support systems so He could rebuild you from the inside out. The silence you thought was punishment was actually sacred preparation. God hides His greatest treasures. Think about it. Diamonds form in darkness, seeds grow underground, and even Jesus spent 30 years in obscurity before 3 years of public ministry. So when God hid you, He was following a divine pattern. You were not hidden to be overlooked. You were hidden to be refined. There were lessons you could only learn in solitude, revelations that could only come through stillness, and strength that could only be built through surrender. While others were busy being seen, God was busy shaping your unseen character. During this hidden season, God was detoxing your spirit. He was removing the approval addiction, breaking the need to explain yourself, and teaching you that quiet confidence is more powerful than loud validation. You learn to stop chasing connection and start cultivating conviction. You learned that peace isn't found in people, it's found in presence. In His presence, you discovered that what you once thought was loneliness was actually intimacy with God. And let's be honest, chosen one, if God hadn't hidden you, you would have tried to force things that weren't meant for you. You might have aligned with the wrong people, attached to the wrong opportunities, or exposed your vision to those who didn't have the faith to see it. That's why He pulled you away. The conversations that stopped, the rooms you were no longer invited into, the plans that fell apart, they were divine exits written into your story by God Himself. But hear this clearly. Your hidden season has an expiration date. God never hides what He doesn't plan to reveal. The time is coming when the same people who said, "What happened to you?" will witness the unveiling of everything God was doing behind the scenes. Your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. Your purpose is being prepared for stages you didn't even know existed. When He finally releases you, it won't be gradual. It will be undeniable. You see, when God reveals, He does it in a way that no one can take the credit. Your rise will confuse those who counted you out and confirm everything you felt in your spirit when no one was listening. That's why He had to hide you, to make sure when the glory comes, only His fingerprints are on it. So, chosen one, don't despise the hidden place. That's where your oil was produced. That's where your discernment was born. That's where you learned to trust the unseen hand of God, even when nothing made sense. You're stepping out of the shadows, not as the same person who went in, but as someone refined, anointed, and unstoppable. Chapter 3. The accusations were part of your elevation. Chosen one, the lies that were spoken against you weren't sent to destroy you, they were sent to develop you. The betrayal, the false narratives, the gossip, they cut deep, but every wound carried hidden wisdom. When people couldn't access your heart, they attacked your name. They couldn't reach your anointing, so they tried to assassinate your character. But every accusation became a tool in God's hands, shaping humility, endurance, and discernment into your soul. The pain of being misunderstood is one of the heaviest burdens a chosen one can carry. You wanted to defend yourself and tell your side of the story, but God told you, be still. That silence wasn't weakness, it was divine strategy. God was saying, Let them talk, because when I vindicate you, their words will become your witness. Every false claim was evidence in heaven's courtroom, and your judge, the Most High, was taking notes. Look at Joseph. His brothers accused him of arrogance when he was only sharing a divine dream. Potiphar's wife falsely accused him, and it landed him in prison. But that very accusation was the bridge to his elevation, because the pit and the prison were both preparation for the palace. The same God who turned Joseph's scandal into a story of success is doing the same with you. The lies that were meant to limit you are the very ones lifting you. Sometimes God lets your reputation be tested before your revelation is released. He allows the rumors to spread because once He reveals the truth, every tongue that rose against you will fall silent. When people spoke against you, they were unknowingly creating a stage for God's glory. What they meant for shame, God is turning into spotlight. Vindication from God hits differently. It's not about clapping back. It's about being crowned quietly. It's about watching God elevate you while your enemies can only watch. He's not just clearing your name. He's rewriting your legacy. Those who thought they ruined your image will soon realize they only redirected attention toward your purpose. The accusations also exposed what was fake around you. God used them to separate you from people who were never meant to go where He's taking you. You found out who was loyal, who was watching, and who was waiting for your downfall. But even that was grace. Now you're surrounded by truth, not pretense, by discernment, not desperation. Chosen one, every attack on your name was a test of your restraint. Could you stay silent when falsely blamed? Could you still trust God when everything seemed unfair? You did, and that's why you're about to rise. Your composure under pressure was your qualification for the next level. Now the same mouths that spread lies will speak your truth. The same eyes that look down on you will look up to you. The same people who said you'd never make it will say, only God could have done that. Because that's exactly what He's doing, turning false accusation into divine elevation. So don't be bitter about what they said. Without their words, God wouldn't have built your witness. You don't need to clear your name. Heaven already did. The storm that came to stain you actually sanctified you. Chapter 4, Heaven has the records. Chosen one, you may not have the proof, but heaven does. You may not have screenshots, witnesses, or words to defend yourself, but God kept every detail. Every tear you cried in secret, every betrayal that broke your spirit, every lie that was whispered behind closed doors. None of it went unnoticed. Heaven doesn't lose files. God has been documenting everything from the beginning, not to keep score, but to ensure divine justice is served at the appointed time. There were moments you felt like no one would ever understand what really happened. You tried to explain yourself, but people had already made up their minds. They chose to believe the rumors over your reality. Yet God said, stay silent. I saw it all. Because sometimes when you defend yourself too early, you interrupt what heaven is building on your behalf. God's silence wasn't ignorance. It was preparation for a public revelation that couldn't be argued. You see, God doesn't expose through chaos. He exposes through change. He won't embarrass your enemies through your words. He'll elevate you through His works. When the same people who plotted your downfall see you rise, that will be their conviction. When they watch the very one they counted out become everything they claimed you'd never be, that will be their lesson. Because your blessing will speak louder than any accusation ever could. Heaven's records are flawless. Every false accusation, every secret conversation, every act of deceit, it's all stored in divine archives. God doesn't rush justice because He's aligning it with timing. He knows how to repay, restore, and reveal all at once. You may have lost reputation in the short term, but you gained credibility in the spirit realm. When God vindicates, He doesn't just clear your name, He crowns your life. And when He finally opens those records, it won't look like revenge, it'll look like reward. He'll bless you so visibly that even those who hurt you will have to admit God's hand was on you all along. They'll remember what they said. but they'll also realize that their words had no power over what heaven had already written, because heaven's verdict always overrides earth's opinion. Chosen one, don't waste energy trying to prove what God is already preparing to reveal. The truth doesn't need a defender when heaven is your witness. God saw when they lied. He saw when they left. He saw when you stayed faithful through the pain. That's why your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. That's why doors are about to open that no one can shut, because your obedience kept you qualified when others disqualified you with lies. When the time is right, God will release the proof in a way no one can deny. He'll use your peace as evidence, your growth as testimony, and your success as the final word. The same people who said you're finished will see you flourish. The same ones who doubted you will have to watch you walk in favor they can't explain. That's divine justice, silent, steady, and supernatural. So rest in this truth, chosen one. You don't need revenge. You need results, and God is bringing them. Heaven's records are clear, and your reward is already signed, sealed, and scheduled. The same God who watched it all unfold is now preparing to make it all make sense. You may have been the topic of gossip then, but soon you'll be the testimony of grace. Chapter 5. The table is being set. Chosen one, the feast that heaven has prepared for you is not rushed. You've heard the scripture. He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. But here's what most people miss. Preparation takes time. A fine banquet isn't thrown together overnight. Every detail is planned, every seat is intentional, and every dish is crafted for the right moment. God has been arranging your table in silence, piece by piece, while the world assumed you were forgotten. The longer the wait, the greater the reveal. That's why it's taken so long. Your table isn't ordinary, it's royal. The delay was divine, not a denial. Every closed door, every rejection, every painful pause was heaven ensuring that what's coming is not just good, it's perfect. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. God was clearing out the wrong guests, so that when your table is unveiled, only those meant to celebrate you will be present. You see, when God sets the table, He doesn't do it in secret forever. There comes a moment when the curtain lifts, and the very people who dismissed you will have to witness your elevation. They'll realize that while they were gossiping, God was gathering. While they were laughing, He was laying the foundation for your legacy. The table isn't being set to embarrass them. It's being set to glorify Him. Think of Joseph, sold by his brothers, forgotten in prison, yet raised to power in front of the same ones who betrayed him. That's what divine tables look like. They're not revenge meals, they're redemption moments. God doesn't just restore you, He restores you publicly. Not because He needs to prove a point, but because your story becomes the evidence of His faithfulness. Right now, heaven's kitchen is active. Angels are arranging blessings with your name on them. The right people are being moved into position. People who will honor your calling, not compete with it. Resources you didn't chase are being released. Opportunities you didn't apply for are being prepared. You may not see it yet, but everything is being placed exactly where it belongs. And when the table is revealed, you won't just be a guest, you'll be the proof of promise. You'll sit where others thought you'd never stand. You'll feast where you once fasted. You'll celebrate where you once cried. Because this isn't just any table. It's the fulfillment of every season you endured in faith. So don't lose heart, chosen one. The wait has purpose. The silence has meaning. The preparation has weight. The longer God takes, the more glorious the unveiling will be. You've been through too much not to be rewarded in front of those who watched you suffer. When heaven finally says, "Now you'll understand why you had to eat crumbs for so long, because God was preparing you to dine in abundance." And when you sit at that table, your only words will be, "It was worth the wait," because truly, the table is being set not just for your comfort, but for God's glory. Chapter 6. God is about to make it public. Chosen one, your vindication won't be quiet. It won't be hidden behind closed doors or whispered in secret. The same way your struggle was seen by many, your restoration will be witnessed by multitudes. God is about to make it public, not for your ego, but for His glory. Every tear you cried in silence, every injustice you endured without defending yourself, every season where you were overlooked, heaven took note. And now the scales are tipping in your favor. You see, when God restores, He doesn't just repair, He reveals. He doesn't just give you back what was taken, He multiplies it so much that no one can deny His hand on your life. The same people who gossiped about your downfall will become the audience to your divine rise. The same ones who mocked your faith will have to admit that it worked. The same doors that were slammed in your face will swing open with your name written on them. This next move won't be private. It'll be prophetic. For so long you were the underdog, the overlooked, the underestimated. You had the vision but not the visibility. You had the anointing but not the platform. You had the calling but no confirmation from men. But that was by design. God had to keep you hidden until the right moment, because premature exposure would have led to premature attack. He wasn't denying you, He was developing you. He was preparing the world to see you through His lens, not through their limited perception. And now the timing is divine. Heaven has aligned the stage, and your name is being mentioned in rooms you've never entered. People you don't even know are being led by God to favor you, to open doors for you, to elevate your purpose. You're about to walk into opportunities that don't make logical sense because they're not man-made. They're heaven-ordained. This is the season where the evidence will speak for itself. You won't have to argue, explain, or prove anything. Your peace will speak. Your glow will speak. Your transformation will testify louder than any words could. The same people who said you'll never make it will have to say only God could have done this. Remember, God never exposes without purpose. When He reveals, it's because the preparation is complete. You've passed the tests, endured the silence, and stayed faithful when no one was watching. Now He's ready to showcase what obedience looks like when it's fully matured. This is your unveiling season, where private pain becomes public power. And when it happens, it'll be clear that this was never about fame or validation. It's about glorification, His, not yours. Your life will become living proof that faith still works, that patience pays off, and that God's timing is never late. So get ready, chosen one. The same stage where you were counted out will become the platform for your comeback. The same story they used to mock you will become the testimony they can't stop talking about. You're not just stepping into visibility, you're stepping into victory. Because when God decides it's time to make it public, no one can stop the reveal. Chapter 7, Walk in Grace, Not Revenge. Chosen one, when the vindication finally comes, and it will, remember this, not every victory needs to be announced, and not every wound needs to be proven. God doesn't restore you to prove people wrong. He restores you to prove His word right. When the tables turn, when your name is cleared, when your light starts to shine where darkness once surrounded you, that's the moment your character will be tested again. Because success is a different kind of test. You see, revenge is the reflex of the flesh, but grace is the response of the anointed. Anyone can clap back, but only the chosen can rise above. God didn't bring you this far just for you to lower yourself to the level of those who tried to destroy you. Your comeback is not a weapon, it's a witness. He's using your story to show the world that forgiveness is stronger than bitterness, that peace is more powerful than payback, and that elevation is the loudest answer to false accusation. When the same people who lied on you, doubted you, or betrayed you come back around, and they will, don't respond with pride. Respond with peace. They'll expect you to be angry, to hold grudges, to make them feel what you felt, but shock them with grace. Let your strength be your silence and your humility be your headline. Because grace confuses the enemy. When you bless instead of curse, you break generational patterns. When you rise and still choose mercy, Heaven celebrates you louder than the crowd ever could. Chosen one, the tables are turning in your favor, but you must remember who set the table. The same God who vindicated you can also humble you. So stay grounded, stay grateful, keep your heart clean even when you have every reason to gloat. The more you rise, the more you'll realize grace keeps you elevated longer than ego ever will. This season isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. The world is about to see that God never abandoned you. They'll see how He lifted you when they laughed at you, how He promoted you after they pushed you out, how He healed you after they hurt you. The same mouths that declared your downfall will now have to testify to your deliverance. But when it happens, remember to give God the glory, not man the credit. You're walking into a season of public vindication, divine reversal, and undeniable favor. The lies are losing power. The truth is rising like the dawn. And heaven is about to make a statement through your story, one that says, "This is what happens when a chosen one refuses to quit."